Alright, please make sure your phones are silenced. If you're gonna make a comment today, you fill out a citizen's comment form. And you have 2 minutes to make your comment. First one I have is Larry Barron on 6.1. Larry, you there?
Larry, he's talking. He's talking.
Really, I don't believe that.
He's not talking.
Sorry, Judge, always late.
That's quite alright, Larry. See,
I know that switch is there somewhere.
tap on it.
Commissioners, Judge, Chambers County residents, thank you for your time. I'm here on what I feel is a really special issue. There's a gentleman in this room right now that's done a lot for Winnie, Texas, and I'm not talking about myself. It's little Sonia back there. I think most of you know him. He just about built the Rice Festival grounds, okay? He's a special man. He doesn't care what he's getting for himself. I can speak for myself. I've had commissioners ask me about trade days and why I've never asked for anything for trade days. It's because I don't need to. It's self-sufficient. The community supports me and you've all been great to me. The bottom line is the same is true of Lilton. He's given out of his pocket generously to help build and do so many things. If someone was in need, he helped with benefits. Whatever he had to give, he did. This is one time we're asking for something back for him. And it's not just because it's Lilton. It's for the community. It's a project he started 22 years ago. I've worked on it, I guess, probably about 6 or 7 years now. We think it's time for it to really come to fruition. The bottom line is not only are we asking you to do something for the good of the whole county, because I think it is, because it will bring heads on beds, and we know we've got the hotels over there to pay you taxes, and sometimes I know you have to fight to collect them, but you get them, okay? The bottom line is we think we can generate more tourism dollars. If it's self-serving to the fact that if people are over here, my trade days is going on at the same time, yes, I might get some business out of it, but other than that, that's not my intention. I'm here to ask for Lilton Saunier and for the benefit of Winnie. We don't come for a lot. I mean, I know that you take very good care of all of us. We know that we don't generate the tax revenues that the other part of the county does, but we're asking this one time for you to indulge us and please help our community. Thank you very much.
What are you referring to?
The expansion of the arena. I'm sorry, I guess I should have said that, I'm sorry.
1.6?
6.1.
6.1, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, my apologies.
That's quite alright.
Judge, should I turn it off?
No, leave it on. Thank you, sir. All right, Jeannie Murphy, public comment, new business opening. Good morning, Jeannie.
Good morning. My name is Jeannie Murphy, and I am the owner of a new business on 146 and I-10. It's a Fuzzy's Taco Shop. We are a Baja-style, very family-friendly restaurant where everything except sour cream that comes out of my kitchen is made in my kitchen. So we had our first VIP pre-opening last night. Our official opening is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we're having a ribbon cutting ceremony. We're giving a basket to our first guest of unique merch from our organization and 100 t-shirts for the first 100 people through the door. So last night was our first soft opening. We had our first child temper tantrum. Somebody threw a high chair. It was very exciting. We have a patio.
My granddaughter, she's read it.
It might have been. We have a patio filled with kids' games. For us, success is the community and our restaurant. Lots of conversation, lots of laughter, great food, and an ice cold margarita. And we don't have our liquor license yet, so don't hold me to that ice cold margarita yet, y'all, but we'll have it by Friday, they've told us. So we're really happy to be part of the community. In picking the restaurant site, I actually brought a bicycle up here since y'all are at sea level, and it didn't kill me to do that. And I rode the county. I rode probably 150 miles. And we picked Chambers. It's just so beautiful here. Thank you guys so much for being so welcoming.
Thank you. Look forward to it. So I got one question. Why don't you make sour cream?
Well, we don't have cows.
All right, good luck with it.
Thank
You'll
you.
do well.
Thank you very much.
Fix her up.
Where's she looking?
I want to be milking cow.
All right. I have one more. Last but not least, Commissioner Mark Huddleston. Actually, Mark was with me on Saturday. We did a little county business. And I told her since she retired, he didn't have time for me anymore. But he actually made a little time.
It's good to see you, but it's really good to see Dr. Babin. Enjoyed the meeting, I'm here to thank you for 6.1, get it accelerated. I, like Larry Barron, have been a long ways and built to Sonia, went to Corpus Christi with him and talked to people over about the arena and stuff. Most everything done in our park has been by the Rice Festival, and county took it over after it was built, after they paid for it and everything, and I'd like to see this arena built. Of course, our library in Winnie, our last library was purchased. It was a used building. We bought a brick building and spent probably about the same amount of money of what it cost to get it ready for a library, but pretty well outdated almost. By the time we moved in it, it's just don't know the capacity that we need for our children. Anyway, I want to thank the court for moving forward on this, and I appreciate it. I would love to stay, but I got to get back to mom. So I appreciate it. Good seeing you guys. And
Well, we're gonna go to it immediately, so
I don't think they're gonna be here until 10:30.
who? Oh, they're not?
Yes.
Okay, we're not gonna go to it.
I would stay if you would, but anyway, thanks, Judge. Thank y'all.
Take care, Mark. Take care of your mom.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, my agenda says 10:30, so. She put it on there, I just missed it. All right, let's go to the second page. I promised Sarah and Patrick, I think we're there. Economic development, tourism, Sarah, you out there?
She won.
Patrick, good morning. 4.1, discuss and consider change order 5 for B.H. Garver for additional work associated with the Old River Ditch project in Mobile, Texas. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Long time no see. So this is the change order number 5 for the Old River Ditch project. Last time I was probably here, we talked about doing an amendment to put additional funds into this contract to do all of the additional work to satisfy property owners, tree removal, everything to complete the project that we could. And so that has been done. We're increasing the contract up to the nearly the maximum 24.9% is what's coming now in this increase. And the contract is ready to go. We think we can probably get it done within 60 days or so once they mobilize and get out there to complete this job, get it off the books, and then move on.
Questions?
Sir.
When do you expect for us to be finished, totally finished?
On this project? I'm open 60 days. 60 days from after today.
I make a motion that we approve the change order as indicated in the package to 1.5 million in change. Whatever that is.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Snag, second by Commissioner Nelson.
Have you been out there, how well is the original project holding up?
I haven't been out there since we did a site visit back in February. We'll go back out whenever they remobilize. I hadn't heard any complaints, if that gives you any indication. It looked really good at the time, and so it'll look better once they officially complete it because they'll be able to do all the site cleaning for it.
All right, got a motion second. Any other questions?
Have you heard anything negative?
There were a few comments right after they left, but,
Quieting down.
well, it was other than, when are we gonna take the trees out, and hurricane season, but other than that, I hadn't really heard that much. I intended on going out there, but I just hadn't had a chance to get there yet. I'll look at it.
All right, got a motion second. Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. And by the way, today's Sarah's birthday. She's 29 again, she said.
That's a big 6-0.
Ah. Happy birthday,
Thanks.
Sarah.
See,
All right,
We're done,
thank you. Get out of the, yeah, library historical. 15.1, discuss and consider accepting a check in the amount of $5,000 from the Friends of the San Francisco County Library System as a portion of the Friends' commitment to pay for the furnishings at the Sam and Cormina Gauss Memorial Branch Library. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning.
I just wanted to introduce Mr. Bobby Gallio. He is an active Friends Board member and here to present the court with a check and part of their ongoing commitment to pay back the furnishings for the Sam and Carmina Goss Library. So,
Bring it on
Mr.
up.
Gallio.
You got some more friends here, so Elaine, come up.
Elaine Griffith and Gaynell Winnie. It's literally a big check.
Commissioner Nelson will have to see the check, so you can come out and get it. Good morning, sir.
Please, you gotta stand up, I'll be in front of you. Leave that over there. But you gonna talk, you're not gonna read it?
Your patience and your generosity for the building. You've been over the building. Library is beautiful. Many people are visiting it. It's going to be a wonderful addition to the community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Valerie, get in here in the picture.
Yeah, Valerie, you need to get
And who else you got? You get the rest of your staff in here. Come on.
Yeah,
Y'all come on.
ladies.
Here, hold this out the check.
You
Want to get up here in the middle?
You want to get behind the chair?
Here's used to giving a check to
There
We're gonna need a bigger check.
Galen, can you get in a little bit closer?
Please, those in favor? Motion carries. Okay.
And then the others, like, and, right? Get them, and then take a picture. And what?
Back up toward the top.
Thank you.
1.4, discuss and consider contract approval for the collection of justice of the peace, court fees and fines by and between Seabreeze County, Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott LLP. Mike, you taking that?
But very briefly, I wanted to point out that what was in the court packet has been modified. What you have in front of you is an agreed modification from what was in the packet, as well as we excluded the order for an ordinance because the county already passed that ordinance in 2003, and that's the second packet that you have in that paper clip. So there was no need to pass a new ordinance, but otherwise the terms are appropriate and as Mr. Darlow explained further.
And you're good with?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Morning, Judge, Court. We appreciate the opportunity to continue working for the county in the collection of your JP fines and fees. Doug Kalam with my firm has visited with each of the JPs and their staff over the last couple of months to discuss our program and how we would work for the county to collect the monies that are due. Of course, we'll be working with each of the courts carefully and closely as it relates to the continued conversion that they're in the middle of from the net data product over to the Odyssey product. We have some special expertise in having dealt in a similar situation in Galveston County, but you guys are light years ahead of where Galveston was when they started their conversion.
You tell all the counties that, don't you?
Judge, you're not supposed to tell all my secrets. But truthfully, you are. And the fee that we're paid is paid solely by the defendant, the violator, if you will. Our job is to drive them to each of the courts. The court then decides what to do. We only get paid if you get money. So if they come to the court determines they're indigent, or they spend the weekend in jail, or they have a trial and are found not guilty, some resolution other than the payment of money, we don't get paid. That's just part of the process. We will be sending out demand letters to all the violators on a regular basis. We'll be doing a tremendous amount of address research to find the person. Down the road, we'll come back to court and give you an idea of how we're progressing in this. It's a standard, it's what I would call our standard 30-day contract. So if at any time you're dissatisfied with our service on 30-day notice, you can terminate us. I'd be happy to go into any details or answer any questions that the court may have.
Questions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for fines and fees, collection services for the Justice of the Peace Courts, and authorize the judge to execute the agreement.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Snacks, second by Commissioner Nelson. Questions? In favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. I'm signing this
Thank
contract
you.
now.
appreciate it, and we'll start working tomorrow.
All
Well,
right, so if
later
you want a
today.
copy of the signed contract,
She can email it, Lauren can email it to me when
Okay.
she has time, no rush.
that works.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, take care. Done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Then the envelopes should be everybody.
115, discuss and consider alternate list for salary grievance committee. How many do we have? Seven?
We only have 7 that have accepted.
Well, that's way farther than we were a couple weeks ago.
So we have to send out, hold the previous grand jury list to get trying to
Okay, so if you get 2 each, 3 each, let's see, get 3, Jimmy. Get 3 there. I got 3 each, you go. I got 3, Jimmy did get. Oh, Jimmy, read me 3, Jimmy.
I have one.
All right, as you read them off, Jimmy, you'll start, you'll put 1 beside the name, and then 2, 3, 4, that needs.
Ready?
Yes.
Stacy Braxton Holmes. That's number 1.
Number 1.
Petra Morphin, number 2.
Kevin Yeager's number 3.
Lenny Baca, or Leonard Baca, is number 4.
Blake Moya. Number 5. Number 6, Nora Gonzalez.
Number 7 is Craig Pringle.
Number 8 is Heather McCarchick.
Number 9, Marcel Miller. And 10, Charles Rutledge.
11 is Christopher Roper.
12 is Carl Morris.
All right, you'll pass those. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner George, second by Commissioner Gore. Approve the list, alternate list for salary grievance committee. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
3-8 says Jerry's here.
You think he's special?
Yeah, I think he's special.
All right, on the road and bridge, 3.8, this from Bobby on. Discuss and consider replacement of Oak Street Bridge and the Davis Street Bridge over the Anahuac Fitz County right-of-way. Bobby.
Yes, so I met with the TBCD board last Wednesday, and we're working now. They agreed to help in the replacement of those 2 bridges. They will be reimbursed for their material or manpower or equipment that they use to do it. This is outside of their district, but yet their attorney says that through an interlocal agreement, which he is working on right now, we can do this. The funds will come from the tax note and under the Kilgore extension.
Yeah, everybody's got a copy of that updated tax note.
Under the Kilgore extension, the tax note, we'll use that money. Since
Next to the last line item.
Since it is for, this is roads and bridges, and we'll use the money out of there. We have, right now, preliminary quotes for the bridges, 40-foot bridges in the neighborhood of 65,000. 30-foot bridges in the neighborhood of about 48,000 to 50,000. Of course, once we get all the interlocal and all the plans and specifications drawn, we'll go out and bid for the bridges and use it. Main thing is just this to support, the court will approve us to use that tax note money for that, and then also to work with Trinity Bay, and we'll bring an interlocal agreement back to the court as soon as it's finalized.
And we can move the tax note money.
We discussed that.
Yeah, it's not a matter of moving, yeah, you'll just charge that project, yeah, within the
Because this,
capital fund.
this list is entirely different than what's listed in the tax note. In the tax note, it says for roads and bridges repaired, it doesn't state specifically which one.
Countywide road and bridge.
Yeah, and this is our list.
And
Working with.
the distance of the bridges, the 30 foot or 60 foot?
30 to 40, I think 40 is the maximum one. I think the Davis Creek Bridge is a little longer than, it'd be a maximum of 40 feet. And then what we have to do is, working with Jerry and then the engineer will come up with whatever we need as far as head walls, piling, things of that nature, vents. And then also too, the bridges, Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, they're prefab and pre-engineered by whoever.
Yes.
They're pre-engineered by like a pre-engineered building.
What are they rated for?
HS20, right, Jerry?
Yes.
Which is the $8,000.
And what do we think total cost is? I mean ballpark, 200?
We said 100,000 each last.
Probably about 100,000 each, yes.
Okay.
Time we get through with all the equipment, his equipment, and, you know, we pay him just like they would pay us for work that we do. Like,
Okay.
you know, I think we use the FEMA rates, I believe, is what we use for reimbursement to county work, county road bridge work.
Okay.
So you're doing,
65 is just the bridge, and then y'all's cost is additional.
Their cost plus, you know, heating material, concrete, if you have a concrete deck.
Okay.
And that, yes.
So we're talking about 2 bridges?
Yes.
Right? So the inspection of the second bridge, the last I heard, we hadn't inspected the second bridge.
We looked somewhat at it, and it's time. It's just time. But the first bridge, the Oak Street Bridge is closed. It's definitely time to do it, but we felt at the time we had some funds, let's replace both of them, because that way we're through from now.
What's our time frame on this? How long will it take to complete?
We'll probably get started sometime in October, because we're right in the middle of all our major road programs. But Jerry, what do you think?
Yes, sir, it'll be at least in, it'll probably, they have to manufacture the bridge, roll the steel and everything else, it'll be a little while.
Once we get the bids back in, submit the order, then it's a while. It might be after the first year before we get to the final.
and then so Bobby, you're contracting to Trinity Bay on a time and material basis.
That's right.
But they're still required to give us an estimate for your purchase order that you'll issue to them.
That's right, yes.
A pretty accurate estimate.
Yeah, they've done enough of these, they pretty well know what.
They'll be submitting time.
They'll do that and they'll get us a interlocal agreement.
Yes.
And
They in fact, a guy, Goodman is working on their local agreement. right
We have an
now.
interlocal executed in 2012,
Yeah.
but it states that there has to be a work order, project specific, but anyway.
We'll work on this. This be a specific interlocal for these projects. Yes.
So do we need a motion for?
yeah, I
for
think,
an
I
interlocal,
think,
or
well,
do
no,
we
I think
need-
you need a motion to go forward, because if we're not gonna go forward with the projects, there's no need wasting time on the interlocal and everything else you gotta do.
That's
What
right.
was you said the distance was 65,000 was how many feet?
40 foot.
That's a 40-foot one, and then the other one is 30?
30 was like 47, 48,000. That is,
So one's gonna take a 40-foot bridge and the other's gonna take a 30?
yes, sir, I think at this point now, or we might have to go 40s on both of them. And once we get the other ones tore out, that'll give us a better idea of what we.
Oh, you're just not gonna lay them over the top of them? You're gonna tear them out?
No, we'll take the old ones out, yes, sir.
We gotta do, so,
So demolition, there's gonna be demolition cost too then?
That's pretty easy. We can almost take it out with great all. We pull those bridges out and pull the
Or
piling.
wood structures?
They're wood structure, yes, sir. And,
So they'll build concrete footing for that to set on?
yes, they'll drive piling on either end. It's a clear span, drive piling on either end, put a bin on top of that, set the bridge on top of that, and then we'll come back in and put a concrete deck on top of that bridge.
I mean, the one on Oak Street's already gone.
Well, it's there.
Oh, is it?
It's still, we never tore it down, no.
Okay.
It's still there, but we shut the road down because on the east end, there's 5 piling and 4 of them completely busted up.
my motion be, go ahead, go forward with the replacement of the bridges.
Use Scottsboro Extension,
Correct.
well, use Road and Bridge tax.
Yeah.
I got a motion by Commissioner George, second by Commissioner Gore.
Why
Any
are we
other
using,
questions?
yeah, why are we using that terminology, Kilgore Extension?
Well, we're not, it's road and bridge funds in the tax note, 2016 tax note?
17.
16 is when we approved it.
That's right, that's last year.
Yeah, this is 2017 capital outlay. So. All right, I got a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I got George and Gore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Larry, I'll be in touch with him.
Terry. You, Larry. You, Terry. Okay, BJ, you ready? Let's go to 113. Discuss and consider Denbury Onshore LLC tax abatement application.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
The application you have before you for consideration has been presented by Denbury Onshore for a capacity expansion of their CO2 recycle facility at Oyster Bayou. The expected impact of this would enhance or increase oil production by 900 barrels per day and raise the current production from 6,100 barrels per day to an estimated 7,000 barrels per day. It also would result in a retention of 10 jobs, 8 Denbury employees, and 2 maintenance folks. Capital investment is about $7.9 million. The net impact of a 5-year abatement would be $170,000 compared to $2.5 million in increased tax revenue associated with the increased production.
Are we competing against anybody, or are they just there?
No, it's an existing operation that the court approved an abatement back in 2010 for the establishment of this facility, and now they're simply going to enhance the capacity for production.
So there are other abatements already gone?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is on White House deal.
Yes.
Judge, one side note to that is, y'all approved a bunch of construction applications for energy. Been going through and raising all the power lines to 124, bring some large investment. I guess it's going to this, I would imagine it's going to Denver.
All right, entertain a motion.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Gore. Any questions on the tax abatement for Denver? Hearing none, those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, BJ.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
All right, second page. Mike, you ready? Yes. Health and Welfare, 13-1, discuss and consider accepting change order number 2, amount of $10,560 from Daniels Building and Construction Incorporated to install 4 additional light pole foundations for health services development.
Okay, Judge, actually, they put 4 on there, but there's 14 of one and 4 of the other. So there's 14 little ones. This has to do with the specialty lighting out and around the building itself, not the big pole lights that sit out in the parking lot. They were just inadvertently missed and nobody caught it. This is a change order. And the reason I'm bringing it to court is originally we had a contingency of $10,000 in this project. I've got $8,900 left, I just don't have enough to cover this. So I brought this to court. We're doing pretty good on the whole project. We brought, change order number 1 was because we found some bad dirt in this one. So all in all, on this project, as far as change orders, I think we're doing very well.
So this is not light pole foundations?
These are not light pole foundations. The light poles are out in the parking lot, the big tall lights, which these are more for the specialty lights that are around the building.
Are they attached to the building?
They're not attached to the building, and they require foundation.
What were you thinking about funding this from, Mike, or you thought about that? The addition
The health service having
On anyone.
on anyone.
Tony Jensen?
Yeah, so this is gonna put you over your budget, right?
this will put me over my budget.
So is there a budget amendment on the agenda? I didn't see a budget amendment on the agenda today to increase the budget. So you're gonna have to work that out as well. I mean, you have to increase the budget to be able to pay for it, even after you approve the change.
So you need $3,000 more since you've already got 8 or so left in contingency?
Did you already eat that up on the
No, I haven't. I've got 8,900. I've got a couple of little minor things coming up. So, you know, I should probably need $3,000 to $4,000 by the time it's all said and done, hopefully, to change.
Okay, so
I just don't know right now. I do have a couple of things as far as with the HVAC units that are coming up. I need some heaters in those. I know that's coming. And I might, depending on what Ryan comes up with as far as a fire hydrant, I might have to put a fire hydrant closer to the, I don't know how those are gonna work out yet. I should know by the end of next week.
So as far as timing on construction on this, I mean, is it something that we could wait 2 weeks to have everything come back?
I need to get this done because it has to do with the front area of the building.
So
I don't know,
we could make a motion to approve this contingent upon budget amendment being submitted and approved by, I don't know, you could already spend the funds.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not
we
sure how to
can
do it.
approve the budget amendment. I assume next court, but we can go and approve this and go forward. Are you gonna approve the budget amendment now? All it's gonna be is, it'll be in the packet. It won't actually be.
What amount can we go up to? He's saying you need 3 or 4,000, this here says 10,500.
Well, yeah, but the budget amendment needs to be for the additional 4,000, right, Mike?
Well, you're gonna need some for the fire department, potentially for the fire hydrant and the, but you're not, that's not, is that time critical too? The fire hydrant and the, what was the other item that you were talking about, the heater, some type of heater?
Well, we're looking at finishing the building by the first week in October, so I would say that everything right now is time sensitive.
All right, Mr. Bill.
What's on the agenda is the change order. What is not on the agenda, of course, is a budget amendment that was brought forward by our auditor. So any way we can conceivably reach a solution today on this agenda item without doing something not on the agenda is what we need to do. I don't believe we can go forward with the budget amendment at this time. Okay. Well, I would recommend against it, let me say that.
Sure.
You can do whatever you want, but you might be called on it.
Do you see any issue with going forward with the change order and then approving the amendment? Of course, that's more financial.
Yes, financial, not
Yeah,
monetary.
I don't have heartburn with it. You know, in 2 weeks, you're gonna meet again and have the budget amendment. Just once again, it's just another example, we gotta get synchronized because something critical is gonna get shut down, and then we don't follow up and make sure the budget amendment's on the next court, and then we get ready to pay the bill, and we're overdrawn the account, so I don't have any heartburn, or you're gonna do it anyway. I mean, it's gotta be done, and you're gonna approve the budget amendment. We just help if we get some better synchronized.
I make a motion that we approve the change order as presented, contingent upon a budget amendment coming back to Commissioners Court and being approved by Commissioners Court in an amount not to exceed $4,000.
And I just said, the money always.
I'm sorry. I'm second, Judge.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Snack, second by Commissioner Nelson. Go ahead, Tom.
Yes, sir, just. Yeah, just remember, the money always has to come first.
So, with your motion though, it says you're going to wait 2 weeks.
I've approved we've approved the request for the change order, and we're,
But it's contingent on the court approving.
I don't know how else to do it. But I'm
Well, I
open
think
to
we're okay with going
suggestions.
forward, just approving them, having an amendment on next court.
For the budget
For the-
amendment at the next court.
Yes.
I didn't state it that way.
No. You said contingent, so this budget order, excuse me, this change order will not be approved until next court, because it's contingent on the amendment being approved. Now,
How else do you work?
you can make it contingent on filing a budget amendment with the assistant budget officer. Or you can not worry about the amendment.
Well,
Because it will be on next court, like Tony said, you're gonna approve it anyway. You're gonna approve the amendment, you're gonna approve this.
I tell you,
the lights aren't gonna affect the operation of the building. I mean, you still could have the building.
I'll withdraw my motion. Let's start from scratch.
Okay. And you withdraw your second?
Yeah, I would draw myself.
All right. Go ahead.
I mean, the building is, the building part, I don't, other than delaying the contractor, which,
I assume that's the issue, Mike, delaying the
is it
contract.
delaying the contractor? Is that what they're waiting to do, just the lights, Mike?
Well, the lights, the foundations have to go in before I can put any of the front sidewalks down, any of it. These have to go in, and they were left out of the contract, and my engineer couldn't come up with a freaking design for this for a year now.
What kind of
That's
design?
my problem.
Okay, so, I mean,
Need a new engineer.
we've got a, you know, I was trying to have a problem with it, county clerk doesn't have a problem with it. I think we just approve this and then have the amendment next time. Simple as that.
Make the motion.
Thank
you. I said you make the motion.
Oh, you made the motion?
No, you made the motion. I didn't move.
Motion by Mr. George.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess I'll second that one too.
County employees may
Those in
have the
favor?
facility that
Opposed?
the
Motion carries.
citizens of the county, if they're not employed
Sure, what are you laughing?
with Chambers County, we can't even use
I'm
it.
not there.
All right, let's see.
But I am giving away money if you want to skip forward.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm going that, we got that. All right, law enforcement 16-1, discuss and consider purchase of equipment in the amount of $84,048.13. Chambers County Sheriff's Office Special Response Team for Sheriff's Office forfeiture funds, in the amount of $59,783.41. Health Services, $1973.38. District Attorney forfeiture funds, $22,731.34. Sheriff. Good morning.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you. Good morning. This is a special response team that we've been putting together for about the last year. And the one thing that we're lacking is the proper equipment, so I'd like to use my forfeiture fund. District Attorney has graciously agreed to use some of her forfeiture fund. And then we're trying to use some health services money for the emergency trauma kits that go with the tactical team. So it's geared to do raids and search warrants and the things that we're trying to move forward, trying to shut down some of these drug and gambling operations in the county. And we're currently doing it what I think is borderline unsafe, but I need proper equipment. And I feel like the forfeiture fund is what the state legislature designed it for, was to equip teams so they could do it safely. And the district attorney is buying all of the protective bullet-resistant vests and helmets and everything that is needed and necessary to operate.
This isn't what you call, is this a SWAT team?
Well, it would be in the direction of a SWAT team, but we are not SWAT certified, so it's called Special Response Team.
But it's not a negotiating team, is that the difference between SWAT?
No, SWAT team is say you actually get SWAT certified. We may go in that direction, but I'm not there now. It takes too much money to get everybody certified and send to SWAT school. So one day, but Beaumont PD is training our personnel on doing entries, and so we've been doing that since January. So we just don't have the equipment to do it properly, and that's what this is, purchasing the equipment.
Joe, how many officers do you are planning on dealing with special team?
14 or 15. So I think
We
what we're
wouldn't
buying
have-
now is 14. We're out 14 men.
You know, we wouldn't use this if it was a SWAT situation. We would call Baytown SWAT team to come help.
We would,
mutual aid with them.
we would use this as to hold the situation until we turn it over to SWAT. And depending upon where in the county we are, I would either use Baytown or Jefferson County or Beaumont PD. So,
Yeah, I just, you know, I mean, when I started looking at this stuff, you know, I didn't know what some of these different guns and stuff, what kind of 40 millimeter gun was. I mean, but I was concerned that
that's to you, so you'll understand. I don't want to get into too much detail. I don't think it's in our best interest, but for using certain tactical where you're going into a, we'll just call it a drug house, for example, where you know there are firearms and weapons, you can send a projectile through the window. I already have people trained on that, to make it to where hopefully you render it very difficult for them to use their weapons.
I just was concerned that we would try to do something that we needed a SWAT team to do.
Yeah, this is not SWAT operations. This is just, we call it high threat warrants, and we have a lot of them in this county, I hate to say.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Snack. Questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Donate the fork.
Sure.
And she did her budget amendment.
Well, Amy did my budget.
All right, 6.1, discuss and consider approving proposal from PBK Architects for professional architectural and engineering design services to tax note projects, the Winnie Library and Winnie Store over Arena. George, good morning, sir.
Morning, how are y'all today?
Morning, Judge. I have,
Jeff Chapman, PBK.
here. Thank you. Again, resources, guys, we need resources, and PBK has given us a proposal that y'all have in front of y'all to build the library and to cover the arena. For those projects, the tax note projects, I think we have $2 million for a covered arena and $1.2 million for a library. Excluded from that $1.2 million is the property itself. We're going to try and do something different on how we pay for that property, and we are still looking, but we're probably 90% sure where that new library is going to go. And Mr. PBK Jeff is here to answer any questions.
Questions?
So we don't have property.
No, sir, but we are, like I said, you know, there's two spots we're looking at, one 6-acre tract on 124 and one 5-acre tract on 124, opposite side of 124.
But we wouldn't start design, you think, until such time that we had the property?
Yes, sir. No, absolutely. No, that's what happened to us.
And we're very close, I mean.
Yes, sir, we're very close.
I know George has been working hard. George
And
and
the school district is trying
Commissioner
to
Gore.
help us with some pricing on 5 of these acres that are on school property.
Judge, in principle, I guess I'm opposed to doing these projects at this time. And my concern has to do with the fact that we have not yet been able to go out and get construction bids for FM 1409. And my other concern is FEMA, that is still hanging over our heads. And I would feel a lot better going forward with these projects after we had a construction estimate on FM 1409. And I just don't know where we're gonna wind up with that project.
Well, I don't know that you could even use these funds for that, even if it went over.
Yeah, it's two separate issues.
Yeah.
1409 is a pass-through toll revenue bond, would be a totally separate issue. And I think when you do get construction estimates, this likely to be much more than this.
You say likely to be much more than this.
1409, yeah.
Oh, well, I thought you were referring to.
But again, it's two separate issues.
I'll make
I mean, I understand the concern, but it is two, so we wouldn't be able to use that money.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead, Gary.
No, go, I mean, if you wanna go ahead and make.
Go ahead and make
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we'll approve the PBK architect for the start on these projects after we get the property for the library in place and the covered arena.
Got a second? I'll second.
Yeah, I will.
You will? Yeah. Motion by Commissioner George, second by Commissioner, motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner George. Go ahead, Gary.
That construction, I mean, unless, until you have the property, I mean, I would think, of course, you mentioned that.
Which we're
But
close.
we have any idea what it's gonna cost us?
You have the breakdown of what we were gonna spend to build that library once we get the property. The property's not included in that, Gary.
I
That's in that
understand that,
proposal.
that's what I'm asking, that's, do you
Okay.
have any idea what the property's gonna cost? I mean, I'm telling you, some of these property we're paying for on our side,
Yes, sir.
gotten very extensive, I mean, it's.
I can throw a figure out there, it's gonna be just throwing it out there, it's about $200,000 for about 5 acres worth of property.
Yes.
And where we plan on getting those funds from?
There's funds in the library budget.
Valerie's, we've got the funds available from the Valerie.
Hey, Val, I know you still
Yeah,
there.
she can, if she wants to answer that, she can.
Valerie, you wanna elaborate on the money for the land?
Yeah, we have some money left in our, or available in our capital line for renovations, and we're more than happy to. park
What were
that
you
amount for
planning on,
property.
what were those funds, what were they gonna be renovated for?
Renovate technical services and WAC.
That was in Anahuac?
Mhm.
And now we're gonna use
And now we're gonna use the WIC
the
office
WIC office over on Stoll.
instead of building a new.
Those funds don't need.
We're gonna have to do anything with WIC office to make it,
Yes.
what are your funding, what's your funding source over there?
We don't have a quote yet, but we're figuring a couple $100,000 just to renovate it and get it.
See how that.
And you got 400,000 in line item, right? Is it four?
She has 500,000.
500,000, okay.
In her
What's
line.
left in there?
Yes, sir.
So we're comfortable with
Very
200,000
comfortable.
for property.
Scott?
Are y'all looking at more than one location for the library?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we don't wanna put it all out there that,
That was, that.
rather, we're willing to
Given
get
some of the
200,000
landowners
property
that are
and then.
negotiating
Yeah.
stance, if, okay, glad that there's more than one.
Yeah, and we're gonna negotiate the 200,000 estimate, so it's not set in stone. I know.
And to answer your question, Scott, we're looking at 4 different properties.
Good. It's competition.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't you wait for that for this? I mean, why wouldn't you acquire the land before you?
Well, we can go ahead and start on the arena, design on the arena. And then, because we're close on the property.
The money's been, that tax note money's been in the bank since about February, and we have been inactive on these projects.
We got our money in the bank.
Been in the bank since October 27th, 2016.
I stand corrected, I'm sorry. So the tax note money's been there waiting, and we have to do it unless y'all change y'all's mind about how we're gonna use this money. Then we need to start doing these projects. And again, I'm not one to sit and wait.
You know, I understand that, but I mean, we've gone out for bid before and not had everything in order. And fortunate that we've been able to do these projects without getting in trouble, without a lawsuit, in other words. So, I mean, I just,
A recent project?
wasn't that long ago. I mean, now what I was getting at, sometimes we get ahead of ourselves, is the point I'm trying to.
Yeah, I don't remember going out for bids on anything.
You don't.
Well, can we separate the two?
We're close on the property, and the arena's there.
Well, if your motion says, once the property
Yes.
is acquired. The motion second says to go forward, I assume, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, go forward with the arena, and then once the property is acquired, go forward back there. So that's come back here to purchase property, actually.
I understand that, but what I'm getting at is, I mean, this is estimates, unless Jeff wants to make these, estimates more hard numbers, our estimating has been kind of off a little bit by anywhere from 15 to 20%.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Not since we've gotten PBK involved. I agree with you 100%, even more than that on some of these cases. But I think once we have a company with some resources, i.e. PBK, I think we're gonna see a better term for our dollar. Go ahead, Tony.
So if you turn to the last sheet of that proposal, you'll see how we've broken out above and beyond. Where I think y'all gotten in trouble in the past is that someone throws out a number and they think that's everything. And so you'll notice that the $1.2 million that George stated earlier, we're not actually basing our construction cost on that. We've backed out all of the other associated costs, surveying, geotech, A&E fees. And so the actual construction cost we're looking at is closer to $1 million. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna work with Valerie to make sure we hit that number.
So you heard that, he's gonna hit that number.
Yeah, I heard that.
And again, Gary, I have a good track record with PBK and what they do and what they say and what they say they're gonna do, they do. So I feel comfortable with those numbers. Now, what are we gonna get for that? We're gonna get a 6,000 to 8,000 square foot library out of this on the east side. That's the size that I'm getting from PBK, is what that money's gonna get for us.
Got this amount of money, you're gonna build.
Yes, sir. Now, the covered arena, I'm new to that.
But they understand that that's all the money we have for these projects.
Period, the end.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it is the number of.
That's never the case. That's never the case.
But even even if you wait till you get the land, you still got the same issue you're talking about.
Well, we dealt with that on the other libraries. When our first project came in, which I told them I thought it was gonna be, we were gonna have to scale back some to be able to make it meet the budget.
Correct. You know, that was a little bit different project in that the city of Mount Bellevue wanted kind of a showpiece for their city, and so they
So
were
we can
kind
blame it on the city.
Go ahead.
well, they're the ones who wanted to put.
We still paid our portion.
I'm not the one who ever described the project as having wow factor.
I think I gave you a pretty hard time over there too.
Yes, sir.
That wasn't, this wasn't the
You
first
think?
time. Barely.
Yes, sir.
I
They
got
didn't
a
invite me
motion.
to their meeting.
I got a motion and a second.
I have a couple of
Go
more
ahead.
questions. Tony, amongst the discussion that we just had about tax note and how we identify things on the tax note, it sounded like that discussion would indicate that if we had a tax note and we have a name associated with the dollar amount within that tax note, that we have no other alternative than to spend that money. And so I'm curious as to your take on that, and whether or not, if that money's not used, if we're prevented from paying down that tax note early.
No, you're not prevented from paying down the tax note early. But if you're asking my opinion on everything, the discussion we just had, we had discussion about FM 1409, along with FEMA, a lot of other things that are very important considerations that I'm aware of, and as Chief Financial Officer of the county, agree that we need to be spending more time meeting as a group to get a strategy for those issues. But I'll also say that 10 months ago, when we talked about a tax note, as we discussed, a tax note can't even be issued unless it's recommended by the county auditor. And at the time that we discussed these projects, again, started a discussion over a year ago, I signed a county auditor's certificate, which goes to the Attorney General. It had a list of all of these projects. And so I specifically had to state, as the county auditor, I recommend that the Commissioners Court issue an order authorizing the notes in the amount of $9,370,000 in compliance with Section 1431.010 Texas Government Code as amended for this list of projects. And I stand behind that recommendation today, considering all that you brought up. Those are valid considerations. But in my opinion, when we decided a year ago to move forward, we do need to be spending more time preparing and less time repairing. So we need to be preparing for all these critical considerations y'all pointed out, but not trying to go back and repair this decision and change it up made a year ago. But yes, according to our bond counsel, you can move money around within these specific projects with the county auditor's approval. Yes, you can pay down the debt with those those funds if you have money left over as well, or if you cancel projects and chose to pay down the debt. Yes.
But
Did that answer your question?
You didn't have that information. You didn't have that information about being denied, or losing our second appeal at that time.
I didn't have the information,
Well, we didn't have
but
that till a month ago or 2 months ago.
Well, I understand it, but what I'm getting at is when you lose that second appeal, that changed our financial situation a good bit. The 8.2 or 9, whatever the total number is.
But it hadn't yet.
I know it hasn't
State
yet,
hasn't
because
come after.
we haven't.
Well, I do agree with the commissioner, but I kind of had a 99.9% chance. We spent enough time going to Washington and everything else. We kind of knew what it was going to be. But nevertheless, this is not the way to solve that. You're still in budget hearings right now about next year's budget and tax rate. That's what we ought to be considering on how we're going to deal with FEMA, not going back, changing up this tax note situation.
All right, I got a motion second.
My opinion.
Thank you, sir. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Carried, your vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't vote. I think it did change, Tony.
So did, yeah, but we're not up for discussion, I'm calling for a
All
vote.
right, I'm gonna say no.
All right, and I say yea, so the motion carries 3-2. And with that, we're gonna take a 10-minute recess.
Recess is over.
Sheriff, let's take yours. I know you left a note somewhere. 112.
Yellow sticky.
Discuss and consider 2018 maintenance renewal with APRIS for automatic victim notification services. Go ahead, Sheriff.
So, Judge and Commissioners, what that is, it's essentially a software. It's a company, a corporation that pretty well operates across the nation. That when we bond out somebody that was a suspect of family violence, sexual assault, or other handful of other crimes, that when they bond out or being released per the judge or per the court system, that our software in our jail and records management automatically notifies APRIS, and APRIS immediately then notifies the victim that individual is being released from the jail. It's usually by text message. It's kind of up to the victim how they want to be notified.
So what does the victim do then?
Now,
Just know?
they just know, have knowledge. They know that
They're
they're aware that they've been released. There are, we have emergency protective orders and other things that we, use to hopefully protect the victim from further harm, but the law only has certain
But they
limits.
don't do that, they don't do it at the same time, that's done later, or was that done before? Protective order if they.
The emergency protective order is usually done in the jail. Before he's released.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And are we currently notifying them? I mean, just.
Yes, this is, this is a
It's
renewal.
just automatic.
Correct.
A backup or?
No, this is, we've been using this for.
No, we've used this system for, you were using it before I became the sheriff.
Yeah.
It's a really good system.
I'll make a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner George, second by Commissioner Gore. Any other questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 118. Discuss and consider interlocal letter of agreement between Gulf Coast Regional 911 Emergency Communication District and the James County Sheriff's Office for 911 services. Sheriff.
So it would always be my recommendation that we use the current 911 system we've got, because we've got a good relationship with them. It's through HGAC. And of course, Commissioner Nelson is the head honcho at HGAC right now, so, any issues we have, he can get them fixed.
Did we have a contract with them before similar to this?
Yes.
Because, I read it, it's basically, saying that they have access to the equipment, when we agreed that we're gonna be responsible for it and be careful with it and stuff like that.
Correct. Yeah, and they do a terrific, they do a terrific job of maintaining it and correcting things for us. And the only other option we would really have would be going in with Harris County 911. And I don't think fiscally and regionally it would be our best interest, so I think definitely my recommendation.
Galveston, it's some cities and stuff do their own 911 stuff, but
correct. And Harris County is
pretty big.
Harris County has offered for us to get onto their system, but I would prefer to stay right there with HGAC.
Well, they sent this to me, Judge, and even had my name down there to sign it, and I said, well, this got to go in front of the Commissioner's Court, so I make a motion to approve this agreement.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Snack.
You authorize
Authorize me to sign it. Motion second. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Need a little help, 911, they used to help us with, our 911 investigators, give us a little money. They don't do that anymore.
Who did, HTC?
Yes.
Well, talk to the president of the board.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, we can talk about this at a later date, not in front of Commissioner Court.
It's not on our agenda, so they do. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. All right, let's see who else got something out there. Let's get road and bridge done so Kevin can go back to work and back to bed. Road and bridge 3.1, discuss consider payment to City of Mont Bellevue for SH 146 right turn lane.
I don't know about this, but I didn't put that on the agenda.
Aaron? Did you put this on?
Yes, sir. I got an email from Nathan Watkins.
Pass that microphone, George. Yes, sir.
And it's been completed, so,
He has completed in July.
yeah. And we budgeted.
It's completed, we're budgeted, Watkins asking,
To be, the reimbursement on that.
Yeah. Motion by Commissioner Nelson.
Approved, yeah.
Second?
Commissioner Knapp, those in favor? Opposed, motion carries, thank you.
Yes, sir.
3.2, discuss, consider approving, ratifying the agreement regarding sale of land from William O. Wallace Jr. to the Chambers County connection with the Kilgore Parkway Drainage Project. That's been done, it's ready for approval. Nathan's here. Nathan, if you have any questions?
I think the reason we put this on the agenda is because there was some minor changes to the original we approved last court, so.
I think they had to come back for ratification anyway, didn't they?
Yes, Judge, it did. We made a couple small changes to the agreement, and you went ahead and signed it so we could get the two contracts signed with the Wallaces, and we're just presenting the signed agreements for court for approval.
And you recommended approval?
I did.
Entertain motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Snack. Any questions? One abstention. Commissioner Gore. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 3.3, discuss, consider approving, and ratifying the agreement regarding sale of land and easement between Hope Wallace and Chambers County in connection with the Kilgore Parkway Drainage Project. This is the same, but it's for building on it.
Yes, but there were some questions on the settlement contract that I think we need to discuss. But as far as the agreement, I'll make a motion to approve this agreement with Hope Wallace.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Snack. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, one abstention. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's Commissioner Court. 3.4, discuss, consider change order 9 for Dannenbaum Engineering for roadside ditch revisions from CWA Coastal Water Authority Canal North Tifton 565. Here, you want to hold off on that?
Yeah, we probably talk about that, yeah. That's exactly.
3.5, discuss and consider change order number 10, Dannenbaum Engineering for outfall channel
Same.
revision. Yeah, hold off, go to executive session on that. 3.6, discuss and consider application CenterPoint Energy for utility construction Chambers County right away on Sutton Road.
Yes, Judge, as I hope, I don't know if it's spelled out in there, we do not maintain Sutton Road. Sutton Road is going into the, I never can remember the name of that development, north of,
Ravago.
Ravago, thank you, Trustee. Sutton Road goes into Ravago. At some point in time, I guess it will be a county road. Right now, we have not accepted it, we do not maintain it. TGS has built it. It's in there, but they asked for, put this on the agenda. One thing about it, if we do, if y'all do approve this, then we have a record of where this will be, and if the road's ever taken over, then we know where it is.
So do we have the right of way?
No.
Have you been out there and inspected?
How we can get permission?
Do we have right to do that?
That's right. If they asked for it, and I said, I think you're right. I think it's not ours, we don't maintain it.
What they asked us to do?
They just want, they came to us as normal, they're gonna put, the center, New Center Point to go in the right of way of Sutton Road, and we don't have the right of way.
So Center Point asked us to
Is
do
that
it.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Center Point.
So what would they do on any other private road?
But
They'd come to us.
we'd refer them back to CCID
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I think is what the answer is. I mean, it's their road, we don't maintain it, and so if anybody would have right of way to it, and I don't know, you know, we're not privy to the deal that CCID one cut with Ravago, so I think we just need to refer them back to
So-
CCID one, to that board. Yeah.
So it may be a public easement, but it's not a county.
Well,
It's
it's
just
called
a
a
private road.
utility, yeah.
So I mean, but if somebody had the,
Because CCID is a public entity.
I know, that's what I'm talking
And it
about.
could be, it's their road.
Okay, but we don't,
No.
Scott, you agree, we don't need to do anything, let's pull 3.6. Might be sending back to CCID one.
You will.
All right, 3.7, discuss consider application of CenterPoint Energy for utility construction, Chambers County right of way on the east side of the proposed FM 1409 right of way.
We do own this right of way. We have purchased this right of way. It goes from 565 north to Interstate 10. I've been in contact with Omar and with Corey with TxDOT, and the problem we have is, yes, it's our right of way. We could grant CenterPoint the right to lay in this right of way. They could be 1.5 foot off that east right of way line. But we have to also consider that the road's not been built. And as the contractor comes in to construct 1409 at some point in time, he's got to contend with power line both. Now, if we want to go ahead and let them go in this right of way, I don't know. It's just, I talked to Omar briefly this morning, and he said, well, it's your right of way, y'all can do what you want to, but he said, it just don't know what effect it's going to have on construction.
And I can make some comments on this. What they currently have is 135 down there at the Lanai subdivision, and they want to run the 288 lines to the new one and not have to change all those transformers and stuff out. But to do that, they need to have that line needs to be a different line going in there. If they extend the 135 over into the new subdivision, then they're extending a lower voltage that they're gonna have to change out anyway. What they're trying to do is get ahead of the game, run the power line around the other way, or through the right of way.
But not only that, with River Farm subdivision coming in,
That's what I'm talking about for the additional.
it would be
for the
west
additional voltage.
of Lanai. It's just, there'd be, and not only that, we got Joseph Code section 123
And they're planning on taking the line up to the 288, but they have to change all the transformers out to do that, but they can't, and plus they change the lines out. So
you say,
I don't have personally don't have a problem. I know that it's probably additional caution the construction worker has to deal with, but we're gonna have lines running, it's like in the ditch, we gotta move those lines over going down 10 in that ditch, so.
But if we do this now and during construction, we find out that we've got to move them, that nickel would be ours?
No, so that nickel's theirs.
Totally.
Well, yes, because it's an FM highway. If it's state highway, no, we'd have to be our nickel, but because it's an FM highway, they have to, but if we limit them to 1.5 foot off the right of way line, that's where they have to be. Then they're in there and they're out, the contractors have to work around it. Now,
I think it's an advantage for the new development. I
It
mean,
is.
the higher voltage, you got less voltage drop, you got less, those motors and stuff that variable speed motors, they're sensitive to all those variations in electricity. I mean, it's a good improvement. I mean, Larry probably can attest to that. And when you get to the higher voltage, you're not changing those condenser down there.
It's actually what they're doing, they're looping their line too. I mean, they're coming off 565, going to 10, going back in.
They had the bigger line over there.
Yes.
They're bringing 135 to the other one from the other direction. But it just gives them another route.
Yeah, it's a redundant system.
Right.
That,
Yes.
I mean, that area is historically has been notorious for every time the wind changes or rains, outages in Plantation and everything along 565. So CenterPoint you know, they've heard us, and they've come in and they've said, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and in the future on 1409, we'll fix it right the first time, so we don't have to.
They've done on 3180.
Yeah.
They've changed over to higher voltage, done on Hatcherville. I mean,
Yeah.
they've stepped up and done a lot of improvements.
Like I say, if they go through it, of course, Omar, one of Omar's comments this morning was, is that if they'll go ahead and clear that right of way, 5 or 10, 15 feet out from the right of way line, clear it, clear and grub it to where it's ready to, the contractor has to do very little work. Because there's gonna be a 3-foot section in there anywhere where utilities have to go anyway. They're allowed to go in. So they have the right to be in that right of way.
I don't know there's anything clear.
Well, it's Ricefield, they just go in and bust all the levees and, you know, kind of just grade it.
So they've already done, I mean, they put that board road down to the pipelines, you know, I mean, they've already got, well, they took all that stuff out, but we still gotta deal with ExxonMobil on that one line.
But they'll have to go across and I think, and the thing is that, on the approval, we can send them a letter to, we all approve this, that they have to be 1.5 foot off the right of way line.
You're recommending we'll approve it?
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I move that we accept the utility request under the specifications indicated by Road and Bridge Department.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Smack, second by Commissioner Gore, to approve the application of CenterPoint to use our right of way for the power line. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You'll see there, it says overhead 600 MCM primary wire and 60-foot poles.
Okay, the other one's 3.9's executive session. 3.10's executive session. Safety, let's see, did we get everything?
Yeah, Bill Vogt was
We still got several more.
emergency. Bill Vogt was here, emergency.
Okay, Bill. 9.1, discuss and consider declaring 1971 2.5 ton 6x6 cargo truck as surplus.
Yes, Commissioners. Yes,
You're looking tired, man.
Sorry, I thought I just had to be taller. Anyhow, yes, sir, that 1971 M35 6x6 military surplus truck is basically dead. The parts that are damaged and have failed on it are difficult and impractical to get, and it's becoming impractical to keep it repaired and use it for emergency purposes. So we're asking it be declared surplus and that we can sell it at auction.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Nelson. Any other questions or any questions?
We used it during night. We would use it during night, the last time it was used.
We got folks off on potentially.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 9.2.
Oh, wait a minute, but there's another item on there for purchase.
Well, that's 9.2.
9.2.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry.
I'll wait if you want.
No.
9.2,
Please
discuss and consider the purchase of 2 United States military surplus M1078 all-wheel drive 2.5 ton trucks for the use as high water multi-road rescue vehicles. Bill.
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, as you can see from the narrative in there, I approached the judge about replacing that truck. The state of Texas, through its surplus, military surplus office, had a number of these that they offered for sale. They reduced the price by roughly 30%, and we got them, had the opportunity to buy them for about $5,000 a piece. The federal government paid $120,000 plus for each one of these trucks. They are military surplus. My concern is the fact that we don't have, by having that one irreplaceable or irreparable, that we had no means of accessing the low-lying areas in the county. When I looked at the county's flood map, which I attached to your documentation, you'll see that a significant portion of our community is subject to flooding, or more importantly, even the roadways and access to those areas are subject to flooding and sustained flooding, especially after a hurricane at the magnitude of Ike, which was only a Category 1 storm, and there's 4 more categories of bad above that. These would be critical in times of a hurricane or a flood event. As Mr. Hall pointed out, we actually used that to get people off of the peninsula in advance of Ike, and Baytown sent one of its to also assist. In addition, Baytown had 2 of ours sent to Liberty County after the floods, the Memorial Day floods a couple of years ago, and they kept them for almost 2.5 months as they used them to provide emergency medical transport out of flooded areas, to provide for medical care, to provide for transporting people to and from doctor's appointments. Where the roads were flooded, the bridges were inundated, and they couldn't get traditional vehicles in and out of there. We have a similar geography here, as you all know. The judge agreed, and the purchase met the conditions for emergency purchase, and we were able to secure 2 of those vehicles, and they're now sitting in the road and bridge yard.
Where do you pay for them from?
Don't anyone.
And you could possibly go out and count ducks with them too, so.
Hot dogs are.
I didn't say that, I said count.
Only if there are emergency medical ducts. But yes, we see their prime role as to provide for emergency medical services, to provide for emergency medical transports, to provide paramedics access into those flood areas. We also, in communicating with the mosquito control folks, one of the things that you all know that happens after floods, after the flood waters stop moving and things stagnate, the hatch out of mosquitoes occurs, and mosquitoes are probably one of the greatest vectors for disease transmission in the area. They can put mosquito fogger on the back of that truck, they can put their larvicide equipment on that truck, and they can treat in the areas that they can't get to with ordinary vehicles. So we see it as a multi-role, but it's only an emergency response vehicle.
I've seen them in Houston. I think when they had those subdivisions being flooded, these have a bed on the back of them where people crawl up in them.
Yes, sir, and that's the difference from what we have versus what the volunteer fire departments have. Our beds are open, and they will have covers on them so we can use them to transport people, transport stretchers, that kind of thing. Where the ones that the fire department has, the bed is full of pumps, tanks, firefighting equipment that's bolted or welded down to the vehicle, and that space is not available for evacuation.
Motion to approve.
Well, I'll second it, but I have.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Stein, go ahead.
On the purchase price of the units were $5,000 each.
That's correct, sir.
And then we had it looks like the insecticide sprayers also came from government surplus.
Yes, sir, but that was a different purchase.
Okay.
And the purchase request that was submitted also included $5,000 to bring those vehicles up to civilian road legal status, because those are military vehicles that were never intended and weren't designed with federal motor vehicle safety standard equipment in them. So we have to do some repairs and upgrades to them to make them road legal.
So the total purchase price isn't $10,000, it's $20,000?
15.
What?
Well, it's 10 plus.
It's 10 plus
to bring them up
5,000 for repairs, correct.
But the 5,000 isn't each, it's
No, sir, it's
2,500.
2,500 each, yes, sir.
So your motion is for the 15,000?
Yes.
Yes.
So I need it.
Yeah, okay.
And your second is also?
Yep.
All right, got a motion second, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, thank you, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Nice time, by the way. What did it say on there? High water?
No, sir, high wind.
Well, I thought high water would have been,
Well, I thought because I was coming to the commission meeting, the high wind might be better.
How much did you say we got to spend on them to get them road work?
2,500 each.
So another 5,000.
Yes,
yeah, 15,000.
15,000 is a hard
Just
one.
for the record, I don't think it's health services sales tax related.
Okay, thank you. All right, Gary, what'd you do?
I did that one.
These two are
This
executive
was done,
sessions, so,
and I skipped over the other two, yes.
okay,
So we
we're down to executive.
we got to go back to
1.9, you said? All right, 1.9. Discuss and consider update on the quality improvement payments program and the partnership between Chambers County and the Arboretum. Philip, you out there?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge. How you guys doing?
Good. State your name for the record, so.
My name is Philip Hopkins. I'm President of Tag Management.
Good morning. Morning, man.
Morning, Commissioners.
Are you ready?
You received one of these packets?
Yes, we did.
I like that, okay. This is a little bit quicker than the past meetings we've had. I'm here to talk to you about the QUIP. What is it? We have lots of acronyms in our business and they can get kind of confusing. So QUIP stands for Quality Improvement Payment Program. It's a new program for skilled facilities. It's funded by CMS, overseen by HHSC at the state level. This replaces the UPL and the MPAP that we did in the past. Does not require any change of ownership. There's no contract changes that are needed for this. So what they're doing now is tying the reimbursement to state mandated quality measures. And we'll get into those here in a second. So how does this program work? QUIP programs funds will be distributed based on 3 components. So we're going to go through each one of them. Component 1 is a non-federal share plus 10%. This will return the IGT funds. They're going to be coming down monthly instead of how they came down last time, which is very confusing and put people in uncomfortable situations.
But it's still a 2-month lag.
We'll get to it. We have the actual documents that shows the time, actual dates. Based on the existence of the Quality Assurance Performance Plan, the Arboretum of Winnie, we've already been doing this for the past 5 years. This is already in existence, so this is really good for us because we're used to doing this kind of work. It is paid monthly following the submission by email of a validation report. The next page is the actual validation report. We will be sending in these validation reports. What the basics of this report is did you have your quality assurance meeting this month? And we sign a piece of paper saying, yes, we did. They're not requesting anything else but this one form, which took them over 1.5 years to come up with. It's like lawyers, you know what I'm talking about? Nathan, hi.
Yeah, but they simplified it.
Yes, they simplified it. So component 1, sample timeframes. The validation reports, they're sent in monthly, and these are the deadline dates. September 27th, May, October 2nd, submission deadline, and then anticipated payment date, November 2nd, 2017. And they're listed straight down. This is for the IGT. Please make a note, a mental note, this is not my document. This is off the State of Texas website. I did not type any of these numbers. Because I've been held to the fire before for things I've said. I don't want to make sure you guys understand that. Of course, they put it in writing, things can change. It is a state. How does the program work? Okay, QUIP funding will be distributed on 3 components. We talked about component 1. That guarantees your IGT. I know that's what most of us are concerned about. Component 2 is 35% of the federal share. The other part, the add-on. So based on moderate improvement, so when we get to the actual quality measures, if we improve based on the national average by 7%, we get 35% of the drawdown for that one category. So you have to, if you improve 7%. And this is paid quarterly, and this is based on the MDS. The MDS is a minimum data set. The simplest way to describe it, it describes the resident. It gives you a picture of how much care it takes to take care of that resident and what's going on with that resident. We've been doing this for the past 30 years. Nothing's going to change for us. We've been doing MDSs since time began. So that's component 1. Component 3. This makes up the rest. This is if you have maximum improvement. If you improve by 20% of the national average, you get the rest of it, the 65%. And this is also paid quarterly. So that's how they're making it whole, up to 100% for each category. This is paid quarterly, just like everything else, and it's based off the MDS. So, sample timeframes. Again, this is off the Texas Health and Human Services website. MDS data for quarter one of the QUIP covers September 1st through November of 2017. Data for that quarter will be due December 31st, 2017. We don't have to submit anything. All the MDS documentation is computerized, it's already sent, they already have everything. HHSC will run a quarter one quality metrics on January the 2nd or 3rd, or as soon as the data is available. HHSC cannot guarantee when MDS data becomes available for QM calculation. QM scorecards will be sent to the managed care organizations by January the 11th. Basically, they get the data, they'll send it down to the MCOs, which is insurance companies. The managed care organizations then have 20 calendar days to make payments to us, to the facilities. All of this is tentative based on data availability. So they gave themselves a little disclaimer at the bottom there. So we'll see how all this works. But the data's going to be there. We don't have to do anything extra. So components 2 and 3, quarterly time frames. So they are going to be, you notice the quarters, September 1 through November, then December through February, and then they're going to send us these scorecards. And we have a time frame to reconcile. Basically, they're going to say, this is what we think you are, and we're going to have an opportunity to say, no, we disagree or we agree, which is nice. Usually don't give us that luxury. And then anticipated HHSC data pool. So the first one will be January the 2nd. Anticipated payment date, January 30th. That's for the federal pull down. And then the next one is on April 30th, July 30th, October 30th. So this is how they're saying it's going to flow. So we're not going to see any money until January 30th, 2018 in reference to the federal drawdown. You will have your IGT money back to you monthly. So let's talk about what quality measures are. Is there any questions about all this so far before we get into the quality measures? Okay, quality measures. Improvement in these determined, sir? Oh, bless you. Improvements in these determines a quarterly payment. Component 2, remember, is 35%, and component 3 is a 65%. So what are they? Number 1, high-risk residents with pressure ulcers. Bed sores. You've heard of these things, right? Percent of residents suffering a fall with a major injury. We're going to define each one of these in just 1 second. Percent of residents with physical restraints. Percent of residents receiving antipsychotic medication. So the next page is actually how we're doing right now at the Arboretum of Winnie. So the first one is pressure ulcers. High-risk residents per quarter. Up in the right-hand corner, you see the national average is 5.67. So the United States, 5.67 of the residents residing in long-term care facilities that are at high risk have pressure ulcers with a stage 2 or above. Now keep in mind, a stage 2 pressure ulcer can be the size of a pinprick. If the skin is open, it's basically a stage 2. But it has to be from pressure, not from anything else. So if you notice, we currently are 1.52 compared to the national average of 5.67. So we're looking really good. I don't think we have any issues whatsoever with pressure ulcers.
So where do you see, the 1.52 is the green highlighted area?
Yes,
That's
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so if you notice, you see that little
target's 4.5, and y'all are at 1.5.
Yes, so yeah. So we still have wiggle room, so we can. And if you notice, that's one resident.
The payment target is the national average.
The payment target, yes. So if you're at or below the national average, you have nothing to worry about. Okay. For that particular category, and each one of these categories is based 35% and then 65%. Each one of these. So falls with major injuries. National average is 3.35. We're sitting at a 4.3. Last year we had 1.62. This is based on 4 residents falling with a major injury. Now a major injury to us and a major injury to CMS is 2 different things. Hip fracture, major injury.
Yes.
Broke your pinky toe is also a major injury. So any kind of fracture of any sort is a major injury. But it has to be from a fall. And we have the luxury of having a secure unit at the Arboretum of Winnie, and lots of ambulatory residents that like to go outside, and sometimes they trip and fall. So as of right now, we have 4. If we can cut that down to just 3, we'll be fine. So we're gonna really work on this, and I also think defining major injuries, also I think we might be miscoding some of our MDSs. We kind of looked at a little survey of our whole company, and I think the definitions need to be clear. I think we kind of might have made ourselves look bad unnecessarily. Next category is physical restraint. National average is 0.53. The Arboretum is at 0%. No physical restraints.
We will remain.
I mean, this has been one of their targets for years. Back in the 90s, we started getting rid of restraints. Now, the antipsychotic medications, again, we have a secure unit. So those types of residents, that type of population, usually requires some sort of antipsychotic medication. Example is Haldol. We've all heard of that. The national average is 16%. We're at 28%. Last year, we were at 33%. As you can see, our numbers are dropping drastically. So we're all over this. That's the only one that gives us any sort of flinching that we might not make it, but I think we can. And of course, we've got to work with Danny, and I think we can get the job done. So, this was never an issue. We didn't really think about it. We're not having any issues, but I work with our pharmacists and our doc, and I think we can get that down. Pretty confident.
So on that particular percentage, is it the percentage of the total population of the nursing home? And this percentage is they are on antipsychotic
Yes.
meds?
Yes. And that's just one med. I mean, they might be on somebody that you give
They
them
might
more.
have, well, one person on multiple is just one out of the total.
It's just like a resident with multiple wounds is one.
Battery going dead in 1 minute.
And that's it. That's what I have for you. And I mean, any other questions?
There's one comment about the 5% improvement in the baseline. What does it mean by that?
What it means